Hi guys, Mr. Hill back in my laboratory, so that can only mean we're doing science today. Materials and their properties has been our focus this term. We're going to carry on with that this week. Today, we're going to investigate the factors that might affect a solid dissolving in water. So, before we get started, can I explain what dissolve means? Can I create a solution? Now, this is not the solution to a maths problem. I'll explain the vocabulary as we go through. So just bear that word in mind, solution. We're going to be going back over it later. And can I make a prediction and carry out an investigation? Now, I've been looking at what you've been doing on Tapestry. I think we can say that one. We can put a tick in that box for what we've done before, but we'll need to make sure we can do it for what we're going to do today. So, dissolve, our vocabulary for this lesson. Sometimes when you mix something with water, it seems to disappear. It hasn't disappeared. It has dissolved. The substance has mixed with the water to make a transparent, see-through liquid called a solution. So, both salt and sugar will dissolve in water. So, the water is transparent and the solid seems to have disappeared. The salt and the sugar are both soluble, and you can check this because even though it looks like it's disappeared, I'd maybe do this with sugar rather than salt. But if you take a tiny little sip, the water will taste really sweet. And you'll know the sugar's there, you just won't be able to see it. So there are other soluble substances, but salt and sugar are handy for what we're going to do because you're likely to have them at home. So one thing to note, the water can only dissolve a certain amount of the substance. So whether it's salt or sugar, there'll come a point where the water's full, for a better way of describing it, and it can't dissolve any more. We say that this is a saturated solution. So you'll get to a point where you'll see the sugar on the bottom of the cup that you're using. So if you use a glass for this, you'll be able to see how soon that the water and sugar have made a solution. So there are many substances that will not dissolve in water. The water becomes cloudy and often the solid will still be visible, much like the murky, muddy water that's on the screen now. It doesn't dissolve fully and into it, so you end up with this horrible, yucky, brown coloured water that, let's be honest, I'm not going to have a drink out of that in the morning when I want a glass of water. So these substances are said to be insoluble, so they don't dissolve into the water. They can't make a solution. Flour and sand are both insoluble. So I don't know whether you've been to the beach, got a handful of sand, put it in a bucket of water, and then looked down. You can still see the sand particles floating around if you've stirred it, or if you've just left it to settle, you quite often get the layer of sand at the bottom. So it won't dissolve into the water. So our investigation today, involving either salt or sugar, that's up to you what you've got at home, what's readily available, and maybe what you've got more of as well. I'm thinking salt might be a better option. I know certainly sugar goes much nicer in tea and coffee and other drinks, or if you've got loads of sugar. But it's up to you. It's your investigation, but do check with your parents first before you go taking off all the salt from the house and chucking it into loads of water and making it unusable. So our aim. So for our investigation, we need to work out what we're actually investigating. We need to find the quickest way to make a substance dissolve in water. We need a prediction. Which method is going to make the salt or sugar dissolve more quickly or the quickest in the water? So your first investigation, you're going to stir. Your method, you are going to have 2 glasses of water containing equal amounts of liquid. Place 1 teaspoon of salt or sugar into each glass. Stir the water in one glass and not in the other one, and observe which dissolves first. Make a note of the winner, or which one the sugar dissolves or salt dissolves into first. Investigation 2, the amount of water. So your method for this one, you're going to take 2 glasses containing different amounts of water. Place 1 teaspoon of salt or sugar into each glass. Stir the water in both glasses and observe which dissolves first. Now, this could be quite tricky to do. Try and stir them at the same pace. But if you're doing it with your different hands, you're going to end up going in all sorts of different directions. It could get complicated. So one tweak you could make to this is you could do them one at a time. And if you ask really nicely, maybe your adult will let you borrow their phone or a computer and you can time it. And you can say that this one dissolved before this one because it took less time. That then takes a variable out and it makes it a fairer test. And this is one thing we keep coming back to in our science, is making things a fair test. And again, make a note of the winner. So which one worked best? Investigation 3, heat. Method. Take 2 glasses containing equal amounts of water, 1 cold and 1 either warm or hot. Now with this one, please do be careful. We don't want to see pictures of tapestry with you with your hand under the cold tap because you've splashed the hot water all over yourself. We want to see the pictures on tapestry showing you working scientifically and working safely. So remember, hot water, if it splashes, certainly if you're mixing it with sugar, can cause burns. So if you're using hot water, be careful and be safe. Place 1 teaspoon of salt or sugar into each glass. Stir the water in both glasses and observe which dissolves first. Again, try to stir at the same pace. So you could, as we've suggested with the last one, do one and time it, and then do the second one and time it and see which one comes out as the best solution, or creates the solution the quickest, I should say, to use our vocabulary properly. And make a note of which one comes out as the winner, or which one dissolves the sugar or salt first. Investigation number 4, the amount of the substance. So our method this time. Take 2 glasses containing equal amounts of water. Place 1 teaspoon of salt or sugar into one glass and 2 into the other. And again, we're going to stir the water in both glasses and observe which dissolves first. So again, you might need an assistant to hold the timer for you and time how long it takes. And again, you're going to make a note of the winner. Then your task, draw and complete the table that's on screen now, and just tick the winner. And then complete the conclusion statement. So your results table will be the same as what's on screen now, and your conclusion will read, to dissolve a substance quickly, you should, and then it's up to you to answer it. While you're doing this, make the best effort you can to make sure this is a fair test. Make sure you use the same spoon each time when you're stirring and measuring. Make sure, if you can, make sure the spoon is clean every time, because no one wants a spoon that's covered in sugar that's been in and out of the sugar bowl, because yeah, all the sugar will clump together. It won't be a nice experience for the next person who wants to have a nice cup of tea tomorrow morning. So good luck. I look forward to seeing your work on tapestry. Stay safe, and as always, we'll see you soon.